Hey guys, Angel here. So excited about this video. This is actually going to be a video series because I have 25 life-changing tips that I want to share with you, and I know I'm not going to get them all done in just one video. So, you know that most of you guys know that I had my daughter at 18 years old, and for so many years, I've gotten so many compliments on how well behaved my children are. Like when we go to the store, when we go to the doctor's office, people often say like, wow, your children just sit there and listen. How did you do that? So I've gotten that compliment for years and years and years. And so what I've done is I've sat down and I wrote all my juicy, awesome information out that I simply got from the way that I was raised by my mother. Now, obviously, my mother is a black woman, and we know that they don't play. And so I have incorporated a lot of what my mother did with me into my children with a little twist. And so I believe we need that back. We need that. I call it the old school anointing. Like my mother can walk into a room and demand attention, and kids just kind of straighten up. They stop goofing off when she walks into the room. And so I believe that we need that back in, especially in today, because a lot of the children have lost respect for
Because a
adults
lot of
and
the
adults are acting just like them. So it's very hard for them to distinguish between a child and an adult, especially all the stuff that's on TV. All the things that they make us laugh about is a child disrespecting a parent. If you watch some of these shows, that's a lot of what it is. These children back talking their parents or slick talking them. And if our children are watching that on a regular basis, you best believe they are going to try it with you. But that is one of my tips I just actually gave away. If you didn't pick that up, you will pick it up later. So I want to get into the 25 ways on to, excuse me, 25 ways to raise uncommon teens in today's world. Now, I believe this is one of the most important videos that I will ever do. Now, let me say this. If you are a parent that kind of just let your child just go and be and do because you don't feel like ruffling any feathers, or you don't feel like making them upset with you, or you don't feel like facing the issues, this video series is not for you. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for mothers and fathers that are involved in their children's lives and really understand what it means to parent a child and to protect a child. That is a whole lot of work. That is a whole lot of work. And so if you are lazy in that area, you're going to think I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when you hear the tips that I'm going to share with you. But if you are an uncommon woman, then you will get exactly what I'm going to share with you. So tip number one is to pray for them. Do you remember that movie in The Lion King when he held his cub up? Like that's literally what I did with my children when I had them. I held them up and I just prayed over them. Like, God, make them virtuous women. God, create a husband for them that's going to love, cherish, honor, and respect them. God, let them come to me first. God, let us have an open communication in our relationship. Like, I prayed so much over them. And that was like my dedication to God. And I often say this, like my daughter, my 17-year-old, has told me some stuff about her and what, the choices that she's made. And she's often said to me, she's like, man, I always thought that I would tell you like later on in life, not still when I'm so young. And I always say, God made you say it because of that prayer. Like God is going to honor that. So pray over your children. Whatever you want to see for them, pray that, speak that life. You have that authority as their parent to speak life into them. So pray over your children. That's number one. And like, I could shut this whole series down right now because that tip right there is worth, oh my goodness, everything. So point number two, or tip number two, is pray for their friends and their friends' family. Your children are not going to always be around you. You are not going to be your only child's influence. So when they're young, yes, they are looking to us, but once they go to school and they get teachers and they get friends and they want to go over friends' houses, and I'll get into that later, you will no longer be your child's number one influence. So you want to pray that they are attracted to other good kids, and you want to pray that those kids are attached to a great family. You want to pray that over your child. Now, I know things can happen, and I'm not saying, please do not think that I'm saying these are ways to raise perfect children and nothing will ever happen to your child. That could not be further from the truth. I'm just simply sharing with you what works for me and my household, and whatever you can pick up from it, use it. If not, keep it moving. So pray for their friends, and pray for their friends' family. Pray for their school. Like, they're going to be going out into the world. They're not only just going to look up to you. So now, after you've prayed over their lives, you've prayed over their friends and their friends' family, and you pray for their activities that they're going to do. Just pray over their whole entire life, that God just governs their whole entire life. Then the third thing you want to do, and this can be one of the hardest things to do, but the third thing you want to do is give them back to God. I know. They're not ours. They are not ours. Like, God used us to bring them into this earth for a reason, for a purpose that we don't know what that purpose is. We may never know, or we may be living it. Who knows? I don't know. But our children do not belong to us. They are given to us to experience. So you have to give them back to God. And when I say give them back to God, what I mean is, when they are of a certain age and they are making their own decisions, their brain is halfway developed to a point where they understand good from bad, or what they should do and what they shouldn't do. Their conscience is alive and kicking. You have to detach yourself from the outcome of what they decide to do. I know that can be difficult. I know, because we want them to make the best choices and have the greatest outcomes, and that's not always going to be the case. And so we will stress ourselves out if we are detached to every single little decision that they make. So that's giving them back over to God, because when you worry about them, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. So when you give it back to God, you're literally giving God permission to govern your child and to watch over your child. And think about this. Think about the many things that you and I have gone through, that now God, just like it says in Romans 8:28, he's going to work it all out for our good. So when we know God is going to use it for their good, we can detach ourselves from the outcome. And that's not to say that we won't get hurt and upset and even cry and weep with our children. It just means that you have to take your hands off of it, because that's between them and God. So that's what I mean when I say give them back to God. Number 4 is to tell your children the truth of who you are, age appropriate wise. This is everything. Okay, so my mother, growing up, she didn't really tell us a whole lot, and so I decided to do the total opposite with my children. I wanted to tell my daughter, when she was going into middle school, how promiscuous her mother was. Like, I wanted to let her know that I've been there and done that. And my mother, and I think that whole generation, is like, you don't talk to your kids, you don't tell them that stuff, as if, I don't know, we're just gonna find it out all by ourselves without their wisdom in our ear. But so you want to tell your children things about you age appropriate wise. And I'm not saying that you have to tell them every single thing that you've ever done in your whole entire life. I do believe that there are some things that are just between you and God, and there's going to be some things about your children that you'll never know. So that's just what it is. So tell your children the truth about who you are, age appropriate wise, so they don't feel alone in this world, like, and feel alienated, like they're the only ones having those feelings, when you know daggone well that you struggle with the same thing, but you don't want to tell your child because of, for whatever reason. But tell them. It's going to help them so much. Number 5 is to say what you mean and mean what you say. Oh my goodness. This is when we are parenting our children, and if we try to discipline them in the heat of the moment and we say, go to your room, you're punished for 30 days. And then it's like, I didn't really mean that a couple minutes later. Like, you really have to say what you mean and mean what you say, which means that you have to be able to control your temper and be in that moment and make a sound decision to discipline logically and not say that you're going to do something and not do it. The children, they learn that about you, and that's half of the time why children don't listen, because their mother is constantly tell them, Johnny, I'm going to put you in the corner. Johnny, I'm going to put you in the corner. Johnny, I'm going to put you in the corner. And Johnny never gets to that corner, and Johnny learns that about his mother, so he never listens because he knows he never has to go sit in that corner. So when you establish that that authority in front of them, and you do what you say and you say what you mean, you will see an improvement in your child, honey. Let me tell you. Do what you say and say what you mean. Number 6 is to get over yourself and grow up. What I mean by that, and I say that with so much love, but what I mean when I say that is this. A lot of us as adults, we are still tied to what happened in high school, or what happened in college, or what happened at our prom, or what happened when we were 10 years old. We're still tied up there when our children need us to be present here, but we're still back there. We have to grow up. So whatever it is that you, whatever your work is, whether if it's forgiveness work that you need to do, if it's self-esteem work that you need to do, if it's your confidence work that you need to do, make sure you're doing that work so you can be present with your children, and so you can grow up, so you can mature to a level that you can speak life into them. Because if they come to you and you're dealing with a boyfriend that broke up with you, and she's dealing with a boyfriend that broke up with her, like, where's the guidance? Where's the leadership in that? So do your work, whatever that work is that you need to do, so you can grow up and get some emotional stability in your life. And I talked about that in another class. And parents, if you need some emotional stability, especially us as mothers, go head on over to my blog and check out that class. And I talk about how to build that emotional stability, because we have to stop being up and down. We have to get control of ourselves, and it's possible. So that was number 6, is to get over yourself and grow up. I'm going to share one more tip with you guys, and then I'm going to continue this on to part 2. The 7th thing is, actually, you know what? I'm going to end right there. Guys, I absolutely love you. Please let me know if this video is helping you out. I cannot wait to share the rest of the tips with you guys. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.